Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the channel. Today we are going to be diving into the all-new Roto Tour Dynam-X. But before we do, just a couple quick things. First and foremost, just a gentle reminder to subscribe to the channel. 82% of you guys that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. To subscribe, it's completely free and you can unsubscribe at any time. So thank you in advance for that. Also, be sure to like the video if you do indeed like the video. This video is the hardest I have ever worked on a video. I put a ton of time and effort into this video. I did a ton of research. So if it paid off and you like this video, please let me know by liking the video and let me know in the comments down below. Also, a huge thank you to Storm, I Am Bowling, and Vice Inserts for their continued support. For 20% off of your next I Am Bowling apparel order, use promo code FIREHOUSE07, which is shown down here. They have a full library of jerseys, but if you still can't find the jersey you like, they can do a custom jersey for you. Just shoot them an email and they'll take care of whatever design that you have in mind. So please support I Am Bowling and the other brands that support me. Without further delay, let's take a look at the Roto Tour Dynam-X. Before we dive into the actual video, here's the layout that I have on that Tour Dynam-X. It's a 4.5 by 4.5 by 2. Just wanted a little bit stronger of a layout because I'm hearing this is going to be up, in comparison to the kind of IQ Tour ball. So let's hit the lanes with this Roto Tour Dynam-X. Since this is a Roto ball, unfortunately there is no scent. This ball in color is a dark cyan and onyx color. It is an asymmetrical solid piece meant for light to medium light conditions, but I'll tell you that that is not the gold standard, as you can kind of see here and as you'll be able to pick up as we get later into the video. This ball comes out of box at a 2000 grit Averlon, and the cover is the All New Tour Track solid cover. After 10 months of testing, they took components from the VTC cover stock, added a couple of special ingredients, and this is what they got. Versatility is the name of the game when it comes to this cover. The core in the Dynam-X is the Rondour Tour core. While this is technically the first time this core has ever been used, this core should sound somewhat familiar to you. The original Rondour core was the core that was part of the Rubicon series, which was a very popular and successful series both stateside and overseas. The goal of this original Rondour core was to increase ball motion without having to add a balance sole, since the balance soles were outlawed in 2021. So what's the difference between the original Rondour core and the Rondour Tour core? They cut the differential in half. By lowering the differential, it makes for a faster revving ball and keeps the ball on line a little longer. We'll talk a little bit more about this Tour Dynam-X in a couple minutes here, but first let's dive into the Hustle Rip. The Rip also has no scent, and it's a single color ball, which is RIP Royal Imperial Purple, and this ball is a symmetrical solid. The Rip is best suited for light to medium patterns. The Rip comes out of box at Reactigloss, and it features the VTC solid cover stock. The VTC has been used 5 total times, the first being the Hustle Camo and the latest being this Rip. But it also has featured balls like the Hustle Chili and the Hyped Solid. The core in this Rip is coincidentally and aptly named Hustle Core. The Hustle Core was introduced in June of 2016 and has been one of the most successful cores and ball lines in the history of Roto. It's been used 23 times total in balls like the Hustle USA, the Hustle AU, and the Hustle Rip. The RG is 253, differential of 030 in 15 pounds. Next, we are going to take a look at the RST X1 Go Down the Lanes. The RST X1 was released in November of 2020 and is a black, dark forest, and forest pearl in color. It's an asymmetrical hybrid with 2 parts solid and 1 part pearl. That's where that forest pearl color you heard a second ago comes into play. The X1 was meant for heavy to medium heavy patterns. Since this, the X1 has been long discontinued. The cover on the X1 was the Microtrax hybrid cover stock. The Microtrax hybrid cover was used 3 times total, twice stateside, with this being the first of the installation. The last and the only other time this cover was used stateside was in the RST X3. The main difference between the X1 and the X3 was the X1 was 2 parts solid and 1 part pearl, whereas the X3 was 2 parts pearl to 1 part solid. The core in this X1 was the Roto Tour or RST core. This core was used a total of 4 times, 3 times stateside. The first was the X1, then the X2, and then obviously the X3, all of which have been discontinued since. The RG was 253, differential 053, and the mass bias was 016 in 15 pounds. You've heard me talk a lot about numbers, so let's dive into a little bit more as to what the numbers mean. The RG on the Tour Dynam-X is 247, differential is 026, and the mass bias is 010 in 15 pounds. If you're curious what the numbers were on the Rubicon, which is where this core was basically derived from, the RG was 249, differential of 052, and the mass bias was 011. As you can hear, that differential is significantly lower. By lowering the differential, you reduce the flare and keeps the ball on line better. However, with a reduction in flare, that also helps the ball retain energy that helps with continuation through the pin deck. While you hear me give my opinions of this Tour Dynam-X, make sure you're paying attention to how many strikes I'm throwing in a row because it's a lot. But let's talk a little bit more about this Tour Dynam-X. What were my first impressions of this ball? Well, it was certainly a heavy rolling piece. As soon as it kind of saw some friction, it stood up. I think Roto Grip knew this. Obviously, you heard me talk a little bit about this before. So what do? They lowered the differential, which made the ball flare less. This led to the ball still getting through the pin deck incredibly well. This is exactly what I saw on the lanes. This ball stood up early, but it carried very, very well. So who is this Tour Dynam-X for? I personally think anyone can throw it. Now, I don't think this is a true benchmark ball, but I certainly think it can be thrown by almost everyone on everything. I think it'll stay on line enough to throw it on short patterns because of how early it reads. I think it has enough teeth to dig through the long pattern, and I think it'll balance everywhere in between. As you can see, that was a solid 8-pin, and that solid 8-pin was the 11th shot in this game to ruin the 300, so I ended up shooting here 289. But then again, let's dive into this ball just a little bit more. I think it'll balance every other pattern in between. Higher speed players should drill it maybe a little bit stronger, similar to my layout, and have it read just a smidge earlier. Lower speed players might have a little bit more success with a weaker pin down layout. But this ball is really for everyone, from the tour players to the first year bowlers and everyone in between. Don't sleep on this Tour Dynam-X. How long can we expect the Dynam-X to stay on the market? If it's anything like what they're predicting, it'll stay on the market for 5+ years. They're saying that this could be the ball that replaces the IQ Tour. Not that the IQ Tour needs to be replaced, but this ball deserves the hype that it's getting. As long as this ball holds up over time, this will be the ball that stays on the market for a long, long time. Do you have a Tour Dynam-X? Are you getting one? Let me know down in the comments down below. Up next, we have a couple discontinued balls that I have drilled, so if you have a guess as to what those are, and if you want to see them, let me know in the comments down below. We also have announced the Storm Virtual Energy Blackout and the 900 Global Eternity Pi. Are you guys excited for those? I know I am, but until the next time, guys, good luck and good bowling. you.